It is my pleasure to inform you that Ethical Marvel Snap is back on the menu. I'm kidding! We're playing Star-Lord again! Yeah, it's the same list, but there's a Psylocke in it now, so it's slightly worse, but everyone kind of forgot what to do when you get faced with it, so it's actually good again! Don't you just love metagame changes? All seriousness, there really hasn't been a major combo deck contender that has risen up to take Star-Lord Negative's old spot, and that is leaving a little bit of room for the Star-Lord deck itself, even in a worse form than it previously was in, to come into the metagame and just sort of go over the top of all of these mid-range decks, because we are in a metagame that is very mid-range heavy. There's a lot of things that are just going to be doing a decent amount of points and not an overwhelming amount of points. Things are much more in the Sholau sector of the metagame, in the Gambit sector of the metagame, in the relatively fair Doom 2099 sector of the metagame. These are good decks, but they are not overpoweringly unfair in terms of their output, where Star-Lord, while it is notably worse, is overpoweringly unfair. And it is also the kind of overpoweringly unfair that is not just good against these mid-range decks when it combos off, but against people who are experimenting in that combo space. If you're trying to do some things that are interesting and compelling, like Living Tribunal or Mr. Negative, well, bad news, buddy. Your entire board just got Eliath on the final turn of the game. Oh, you're a combo deck? Sorry about that. Legion on your Magic Limbo. Okay, cool. That's really always been the wheelhouse of this deck, which is not just that it is elite, or very good, I should say, at being a combo deck that outputs mid-rangey, more low-to-the-ground decks, but also at being a massive gatekeeper for combo decks. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't want you to look at this deck and say nothing actually happened to Star-Lord, because honest to God, this deck is significantly worse. What's making it playable right now is that nobody's prepared for it. Nobody is like, oh, right, I should be dealing with things that are good against Star-Lord. Who is packing Cosmos right now? All of the Sholau decks are cutting their tech in order to go over the top of each other. The Activate versions of Sholau, the Pixie versions of Sholau, none of them are playing Cosmo. And so you can just sort of do your thing, and it's worse. Don't get me wrong, this deck is much worse than it used to be, but nobody's actually doing the things that beat you. Everyone is trying to beat something else, and since they're all trying to beat something else, you get to beat them. Jim Hammond is a card that's going to have some decent output in this deck, but he's one of the biggest casualties of the change to Star-Lord going to 5 cost. This is no longer a card that's getting to your oppressively large 17s or 21s or anything like that. You're just not in the business of that anymore. At most, you'll get like a Jim Hammond to like 9 and feel pretty okay about it, but that's really about as far as you go. He's still good, but honestly, part of me wonders if he's costing me cubes, because once you play the Jim Hammond, they know what you are, and I don't know if he's worth that. That's the level of downgrade he's gotten in this list, because we are just so much worse at actually doing the Star-Lord combo. Psylocke is kind of the secret sauce here. This is your method at getting a turn 4 Star-Lord with only 3 turns skipped. You play Psylocke on 3 into Star-Lord, and that is basically the same as what we used to do, right? Psylocke on 3, Star-Lord on 4, kind of the same as the old Luna into Star-Lord thing we used to do. You get the +3, you play an Arnim Zola on it, or you go for a copy of it with Grandmaster Absorbing Man. We all know the deal. Psylocke is the sort of stir that or the straw that stirs the drink, I should say, not the stir that straws the drink. This is a pretty reasonable card that I kind of think we have to run. And shout out to Unhelpful Yoda, who's the first person I saw doing it. One of the actual skill testing parts of this deck is how you do in the games where you are not doing your combo. And I think largely what I enjoy about this deck is putting those games together. The games where you're like doing something on the final turn that is like Grandmastering an Absorbing Man Fin Fang Foom and then playing a Juggernaut. Things like that, like, you can just sort of brute force your way through a lot of mid-range matchups by doing things like wave into Fin Fang Foom, Absorbing Man, Grandmaster Juggernaut, or wave into Fin Fang Foom Zola on the final turn of the game. Like, just stuff that you can do that is not at all related to your Star-Lord combo, and Grandmaster's actually usually a pretty important part of that because he costs as little as he does, and because you run these other fours that are really potentially useful alongside of him, like Juggernaut or an Absorbing Man if it's targeting the right thing. That kind of stuff is beneficial to you. Luna Snow is still Luna Snow. She's your preferred option in basically every situation, other than the specific situation where you have Star-Lord in hand and also have Psylocke in hand, in which case you'd rather Psylocke into Star-Lord than Luna Snow into Star-Lord, because that is a additional turn skipped on the Psylocke that would not be true on the Luna. But generally speaking, Luna Snow is still absolutely phenomenal in a deck like this, and you should not feel bad at all about Luna Snow into Star-Lord. Just get that +2, because that +2 is enough for you to either Zola or Absman Grandmaster, which, again, we're not getting to the full combo anymore. We're not making 21 energy. I don't think I made 21 energy the entire time I played this deck. We are going for enough, and that is what we are trying to do. Luna Snow is also a big part of like those games where you're just doing weird stuff, right? Like I've won games where I'm playing Luna Snow in order to block a location or something like that, or Luna Snow and then using an Absorbing Man on the Luna Snow so that I can on turn 5 play a wave and I will have 8 energy, whereas they may have blown up a Luna Snow thing or something like that. Or I just think I can do better with my wave, which is likely true than my opponent can. Luna Snow is a really crucial card here. Wave is the worst of the 3 as a Star-Lord activator, but you can't not run it as a Star-Lord activator, and she sometimes gets to double as a bonus card that allows you to ramp further and apply your bonus energy. Remember, we're not getting to 20 energy anymore. Just isn't happening. So a lot of the time, if you can get to like 12 and get a wave down, that's as good as we're going to get. And you're going to be doing that a decent amount of the time. Much like Grandmaster, Absorbing Man is a big part of your games where you are not doing the thing, and then sometimes a part of your games where you are doing the thing. Still a powerful card in this deck, but well, the ones I really want to highlight are like copying an Arnim Zola, copying a Fin Fang Foom, copying an Eliath. Those are typically how it goes when you're not using him to copy a Star-Lord. Very, very reasonable card here. Very, very strong. I don't know that this deck would exist without Juggernaut, or more specifically, Juggernaut Fin Fang Foom. Your big thing that you want to do as many times as you can is get to exactly 11 energy. Like I said, we're not getting to 20 energy in these decks anymore. We're going to try to get to 11. We're going to try to get to 11, play a Fin Fang Foom and a Juggernaut. We're going to try to get to 11, play a Fin Fang Foom and Absorbing Man the Fin Fang Foom. Usually that will get us there. Now, we have a couple of directions to get to 11, depending on like Luna Snow things, depending on if we're going to be willing to wave, depending on what's going on here. But largely, win one lane, win a second lane. That's what we do when we play Marvel Snap. Juggernaut, being as cheap as he is a massive, massive part of doing that. What I like about this deck is that it gets to sit on top of people who were experimenting in combo spaces, and one of the ways you can do that is by just legioning the magic lane. Pretty compelling, removing Limbo on turn 6 so that they don't get the turn 7. That's the big reason for Legion, but honestly, this could be a CGR if you felt like it. I think, generally speaking, Legion has been good enough for me that I don't want to take him out. He covers a lot of space, and again, a lot of the time when you aren't comboing, you are improvising, and Legion allows you to improvise well. So the elephant in the room. This deck is a lot worse than it used to be. I really can't stress that enough. What's happening in this video is me taking advantage of like, imagine this deck as like a disease, right? That everyone thought they were over and done with, so they stopped doing any of the precautions. They stopped like using hand sanitizer. They stopped taking the vaccines. They stopped doing any of the stuff that would prevent them from getting the disease. And then suddenly they get the disease. And that's really what's going on here, is that this deck is so much worse than it used to be. But because it's so much worse, nobody is doing anything that beats it. You just get to do your thing like every game. And it's like, oh, okay, I drew my cards. Guess I win. It's so much worse than it used to be, but nobody's really in the space. And anything that is in the space and you do your thing, well, you get rid of the text on their cards and then they're out of the combo space. And you're like, oh, wait, why? What's going on here? Why is this working? And largely it's because the metagame as a whole has lost its immunity to this card. Zola's another one of those cards that just really, this deck would not exist without. Arnim Zola on the Star-Lord, pretty obviously a thing we're a big fan of doing. We love doing that if we're able to make it happen, but there's also just a bunch of other stuff that Zola lets you do, right? Like, I have played Zola on a Fin Fang Foom, and that's a very powerful thing to be doing. I've played Zola on an Alioth. Again, your ramp is sort of indeterminate, but you can often do things like that. And you do need to spend pretty much the entire game planning for Zola, thinking about what your lanes look like. There is some muscle memory from your opponents on this. Like, people will remember, like, oh yeah, you know, I have priority. I should probably Cosmo the lane that doesn't have anything in it when they're going to play a Fin Fang Foom into a Zola. Like, you do have to, like, put a little bit of respect on your opponents there. They might be able to remember how to deal with it. But, like, there's just so few things that are actually doing that. There's so few people who are actually playing the cards that I care about when I play this deck. And you just run over everyone who isn't. Legion, Alioth, and the ways to reuse Alioth are why this deck sits on top of a lot of combo decks. If you can take priority, having ways to just take the text off of your combo decks, like, oh, nice Living Tribunal, it'd be a shame if something happened to it. Oh, nice Mr. Negative deck, be a shame if your cards didn't have any text. That's really what Alioth is allowing this deck to do. You get very sure wins with this card. Really, really, really sure wins. And I think a lot of people enjoy that. Fin Fang Foom is shockingly notably worse. Like, he's still doing his thing, but you really do actually have to do math with him as to, like, okay, are they going to put 10 points of power in the back line? Because if they put 10 points of power in the back line, this guy's not really going to do enough, right? You actually do have to think about that. Largely what he does that's really good in this deck is A, be big, but B, provide you things that are good to copy. So like Fin Fang Foom, Absorbing Man, Fin Fang Foom Grandmaster, Fin Fang Foom Arnim Zola. Enough of his power is wrapped up in his on reveal that it's just really good to get multiple copies of that. And that's really the thing that he's bringing to the table here. It's not just the like, oh, Fin Fang Foom is broken. It's that there's really not another big six that has, or even seven, you know, let's say, there's just not another card in his range, right? How many other cards the on reveal is going to be this big and this good? He's like the sage of expensive cards, basically. He just adds so much power to himself that it's just really nice to be able to duplicate that in whatever way you can. All right, y'all, thank you so much for sticking around this far, and I hope you stick around for the gameplay portion of this video. As always, I have been KMBest. You have been phenomenal, and I will, of course, see you in the next one. Remember to like, subscribe, leave a comment if you enjoyed the video, and yeah, that's going to be it from me. As always, have a wonderful evening. Here, just some very normal Star-Lording. Okay, interesting. Maybe a Cosmo deck? Now, it's like a good news, bad news kind of thing here, because we don't have anything to do, but they don't know that we don't have anything to do. Not ideal. Really, we just draw the Star-Lord here, and it's amazing. Really, we just simply top deck the Lord of Stars and just never lose again. Right? Oh, shit.
Oh, snap.
Zola? Are we doing it? All right, I don't think we're doing it, but Absman Luna Snow is fairly compelling, right? If we go Absman Luna Snow, This is an additional 4, an additional 5 gives us Juggernaut Finfang. Raid. Hello, Husky. Yeah, Absman, Luna Snow. Absman, Luna Snow here. Dude, this might be like a Zola Juggernaut angle, honestly. Yeah, I guess the other option we have is Juggernaut here, Eliath here, which I think can't lose. I'm fairly convinced this cannot lose. So we're going to do that. Those are not cards with text. Nope. Nope. And nope. We did it. We back here. If they actually change show to +2, I'll be so bummed. Okay, I mean, this is kind of awesome, right? You get Wave, Star-Lord, Absman, Grandmaster. Like, it's not... Oh, shit. Hire me back implies the first time. Right. You know, that is my mistake, yes. An RSM gamer. They're doing some crazy shit here. God damn. That's my Jim Hammond. Oh, we're gonna win. Not what I expected to happen. They got my Finfang, which is fine, I think. Seem good? Surely they don't stay here, right? What would I be afraid of if I snap and they... who gives a shit? They're not staying. It's fine. They're not staying. Just leave. Go. Get out of here. Finfang Foom Tech. Is Eliath Foom left? It could be, but I think this is safer, right? Because this prevents them from... Is Eliath Foom left safer? You mean right, but... Yeah, they just don't have cards, right? Presumably whatever their text is doesn't exist, and anything they'd stay on is text. I'll listen to Jay Walla. When has that ever gone wrong? Never. It's never gone wrong. Turns out both plays would have won.
Victory.
12 Finn. My God. We've established this. I need work. We gotta feed him to the market. So true, bestie. J-Wall is right. The title of this video should be Ethical Marvel Snap is Back. Dude, look how ethical the Marvel Snap we're about to play is. Are you ready for this? You guys don't get it. You guys don't fucking get it. Look at how ethical our snap is about to be. Ooh. Oh. Like that. Suddenly I have problems. Fine. I have no problems. Holy shit. What is happening here? Order is bad, right? In case I...
All hail Hydra!
Okay, so the Legion has to go left, and then we have some amount of power to distribute here, which is probably 1, 2 Legion. And 12. All right, so it's 22. The Iska doubles up to 6. We should be all right. Oh, well, I mean, if that's their play. I'll take my 4, thank you very fucking much. Yep. In here. You know, if we draw Star-Lord, we're doing good things. Feel like I see that a lot. Oh, right. It's the same deck.
Opponent snapped.
I'm just going to stick around. Yeah, I just remembered I had the Gunnar variant, correct. I mean, objectively, something funny happens if I do this, yes? Clearly, I just hit. Yes.
Two more shall
Yes.
take place.
Yes!
Two
Holy
more
shit!
shall take place.
It's the most goated thing that's ever happened in the history of being goated. Fascinating!
Victory.
You'll never fool me! I am the master of the goon lock. It just wasn't even really on my radar. Okay, dude, we have it. We have it. We did it. You in the chat? Holy shit. Mirror. No. What did they discard? A Prodigy? I probably have to snap it, right? Like, Problem is, if they're end of turn, I might not even win.
Gotta run, hun.
That is cause scary as shit, dog. Well, now I feel pretty good. But it's too late to snap now, obviously.
All hail Hydra! Don't know. Let's just YOLO something out there. Sure, whatever. shall take its place.
Ina Rock. So they had 12 on both of the left and die. All right, so they had 24 to the left. Oh, that's a Bruce. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. We can count. Let's go, baby. Let's go, baby.
Victory.
Unfortunately, our ability to run Cosmic Ghost Rider is... Dr. Maybe. I have you on my other screen. Reasonable. Yo, Dino, thank you for the Prime. Much appreciated. Dude, am I allowed to go, like... Am I allowed to do that? Or is that ridiculous? Cast the Kid Omega. Okay, that's... horrifying. What is that? Minus 35 my board? Acceptable. So I think this works. I think, right? Like, they have 2 more of these. We're gonna see if it works. Definitely like a losable game. The cards won't do anything. Oh, no. And then they fire 2 more. 1, 2. I think we... Yeah, we were guaranteed to win even if... Yep, we're good.
Victory.
We're good. You know, we'll have to find out if that's something that you get any value out of. If I draw the Star-Lord here, I think I win. I didn't. Ah. One card's changed. This is a scam. I agree. A scam, even. Okay, what if... Oh, that's bad, right? Fascinating. Ah, yes. Ah, yes. All right.
Victory.
Daddy KM. All right. Hard turn. I think it's Psy-Lord Legion. But talk me into Wave Legion. Wave Legion better, or is Psy-Lord Legion better? Please don't fin fang me. Hey, I enjoyed the faux TA video. Thank you. Surely they never fin fang me. 26 points on that right lane. Surely that would just not be a thing that would ever happen here. Okay. We'll take that. We'll take that. That was scary.